Speaker takes us further along the chain from detection and awareness to accountability, in particular in environmental matters. I'm delighted to open the floor to Dr. Richard Manan.
Cabinet Secretary, Our Excellencies, distinguished delegates, colleagues, all protocols observed. There is a proverb on this course that tells us that if you do not seal the crack, you end up building a whole wall. The world, as we know today, have invested hugely in watching our ocean, and seeing as we speak today is no longer a problem. But there is a crack at the heart of maritime domain awareness between what we detect at sea and what ends up in the court of law. Unless we seal this gap, we will keep rebuilding the wall of ocean security, conference after conference. But let's just imagine for a second a young person every morning, shoe morning, on this very cool, goes out before that, the way his father did, the way his grandfather did, but the catch keeps shrinking because the vessel he never sees takes the catch at night. Maritime domain awareness exists purely to address it, but it takes one that we cannot be able to ignore. As we're speaking today, illegal fishing takes up to 26 million tons of fish, and every year worth $23 billion US. In December of last year, the United Nations Economic Commission showed that the maritime trade cost the Indian or Western Indian Ocean $1.4 billion US each and every year from an ocean whose fisheries support up to about 4 million people in Eastern Africa. So I'd like to leave this room with three things, each one grounded on the work that the United Nations Office on Drug and Crime have done. The first point that we need to take seriously is that the gap is not technology. The gap is what happens after we see, because detection without conviction is deterrent. Detection with conviction is just. And therefore, a vessel that is seen but never prosecuted needs only one lesson. And the lesson is that the system can see but cannot. It therefore means that when the chain of last year in the Maldives, a routine drone patrol spotted a foreign inside the country's water, and they put that it and seized more than 200 kilograms of drugs. What this tells us is that the fishing vessel carrying was not just carrying drugs, but it was also illegally taken at. It means one detection gives us an understanding of serious crimes, and that was supported through the UNODC's Global Maritime Crime. And that takes me to the second. We must be able to build awareness, which is not just awareness, but as a criminal justice chain, and let it carry environmental evidence through the UNODC's FishNet program that was funded by. We brought the Kenyan fishery service, we brought the Coast Guard, we brought the one room and sensitized them with what needs to be done, because our ocean is a crime scene. It's not only a policy. And therefore, it's not just about fisheries, it's also about money laundering. It's all about. And we supported the Kenyan fisheries, put in place the first corruption prevention policy, and of course, we're developing a command center in Shomone. And in 2005, UNODC supported over 3,000 practitioners worldwide. And here is one aspect that we should never, in as much as we dictate, we should also be able to understand what taking out that fish from our oceans costs in terms of revenue loss, in terms of job loss, in terms of the future livelihoods of young people. And that takes me to, which is, must not stop at the same feature that catches the shows a finance minister where and where also to invest, because most of the young people who have been lured into these illegal activities could also be converted to legal economics. And that can only happen when we utilize interest to become investment intelligence. Imagine an illegal economy becoming a legal one. Imagine the 1.4 to 1.14 billion US dollars, just 10% of that, which is 100 million US dollars invested to be able to create opportunities for a youth, invested into cold stores, invested into patrols and young people's wages. That's what awareness would actually be. But let me leave you with that my grandmother taught me. My grandmother, she never saw a radar screen or a drone. She never saw a satellite or artificial intelligence. But she thought if who only watches is in the thief, then definitely one can never be able to. In our village, when the watchman, you raise the village answered, and in the morning the thief stood before the elders. The eyes, the arm, and the judgment happened. What it tells us is that we need one unbroken chain, and that one unbroken chain means that our oceans deserve the same what our village understood. It is only seeing and turning if you just think that can make action to stand.
Thank you very much, Dr. Moon. Of course, without him, we're not advancing on issues of DAs and maritime security. Thank you for